Good evening and welcome back to another session of live coding, building open source using Claude and open source cloud for distributing it. My name is Jonas Birme. I'm the CTO of Ivin Open Source Cloud. I'm also co-founder of Ivin Technology. Before we begin, I have some idea what to do today. I'm just going to show you my own contributions to the platform. Good evening and welcome back to another session of live coding, building open source. Sorry about that, I always forget that to mute that LinkedIn. For some reason that's not muted. Anyway, sorry, I'm back. So this is my contribution to the platform. For my services. One of the services or open source project I have submitted is this stream graphics, the countdown that I built, and it's available here in open source cloud as a service, and that's what I'm using as well. And so you see here my total share of my services. So the usage of my services is 2.8%. Basically these are the tokens consumed, are the consumed tokens of my services, people using it basically. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. So today my idea on what we're going to build is basically a very simple application that just to make it easy to go live, to stream live. I'm going to call it just go live. Basically, as I'm seeing that there is a big button saying go live, and then you get a URL back that you should paste into your streamer, and then you have a button where you can get a link to the page with the player that you can send to everyone you want to watch, or point your viewers to, basically another website. We'll start with that. Then of course we could use some WebSocket perhaps to control whether it's live or unpublished and things like that. But we'll see how far we get today. So that's my idea. And please join me in the chat if you're streaming this on YouTube. You can write in the chat, and if you're on LinkedIn, I have no idea. You could probably write something there as well. But I will mainly monitor the YouTube. So I'm streaming on live on both YouTube and LinkedIn. And one of the services I'm planning to use in open source cloud for this is the Ivin Live Encoding, which is a service based on FFmpeg. It's open source. So I'm thinking of using this as the core, and then I'm going to build the actual application around it, and that I'm going to do with the help of Claude. But before that, let me set up Claude with some just go live, call it. But let's connect Claude here with open source cloud. It's always handy to have that enabled. And then we connect. Right, so now we have access to all the services here as MCP tools. Great, let's start. So now let's start prompting or putting down the requirements. We could, for simplicity, create the live encoding instance before, and then we provide that as a configuration, or we'll see. Let's think of how should we prompt this now. I want an application web-based application to quickly and simply go live and broadcast live. One big button saying go live, and when pressed set up the live streaming based on, what was it called? I've been live encoding in open source Claude, and live encoder maybe. In return we get a RTMP URL that we can just paste to our streaming software. Right, and when streaming another when streaming another page is available that we can direct the viewers to. A URL to that page is presented and can be copied. Yeah, so we can start by that. Maybe we want to configure things like CDN and things like that, but let's think about that later. So I want a web-based application to quickly and simply broadcast live. One big button saying go live, and when pressed setup, and when pressed the application set up the live encoder. Yeah, let's start by that. We will probably need to iterate a bit. No purchase. Okay. That was strange. Let me look into that. Try again to describe. Okay, we can ask the OSC architect. It's probably a good idea. Do some research. it's creating a test instance to research it. Did he create it? It has created it. Okay, so we figured that out. Yes, great. So it says research the Ivy Live encoding service and its API, and now it's designing the web application structure. Yes, I want to create that index.html file. Okay, now it's creating the viewer page for a live stream. Okay, so now it actually set up the live encoder using the MCP integration. And that's fine for now when sort of developing. I mean, what we want, of course, is that when you press that button, it should create the instance using the SDK to open source cloud. But well, let's start like this. Creating the viewer page for live streams. I managed to figure out where to find the files. Okay, now it's cleaning up the test instance. Okay, it's good. So what it's done, it's spin up a live encoding instance in OC to research how it worked, so I can integrate with it. To run it, all right. Should we just try it? It's already running. Or there was something else running there. Okay. Yes, I think it's set. Yeah, it's nice. Failed to create instance forbidden. And didn't I set that? I did set the OSC access token. But get this error. Do you actually create a live encode instance? I assume I'm suspecting it doesn't. So I'm trying to use the OSC MCP functions to create instances. Yeah, that's one way. There is also an SDK, but I guess he doesn't know about that. And that's an interesting. It in this case it had actually. And now it's trying to use the OSC command. And yeah, that's another way of doing it, of course. I wonder how we. So it now tries to use the OSC command line to create it. See if we can get that to work. I mean, yeah, that's also one way. Okay, so if I start it now, could not parse instance information. Now we get this error. I mean, of course, one way is doing the OSC CLI, but I'm gonna point them into using the SDK actually. And we can try this out now. No, not really yet. Maybe it's time for him to stop that now. Maybe we should try to make him use the SDK instead. Let's make sure it's available here as well. You can use the OSC SDK instead, perhaps easier. You're absolutely right. Using the OSC SDK would be much cleaner. Was that correct? No, this is the correct way. Can't you read the documentation? I will see. Maybe this works. Knowing something I don't. Is it running now as well? Running the npm install. Okay, let's see. No. Did not work. This is an example from the documentation. Now I wonder why I tried to make up something completely different. I'm not saying it was wrong, it could have been, but it was not what's said in the documentation. So I don't know why it didn't fetch it in the first place. So for those of you who just joined, we are building an application to make it super simple to just go live, pressing one button. Then it will spin up a live encoder in open source cloud. Let's see. Setting up your live stream. Could not find RTMP port mapping. Okay. Let's see if we can figure this out. It could not find port mapping. Perhaps you need to use so here today we need to do a little bit more guiding, but it's fun to at least feel a little bit relevant still. So knowing, I mean, sometimes this is how it is. You know what you want to do, and you need to sort of very specific guided to it. But nevertheless, you don't have to write every single line of code still. So you're still feeling like a builder or a developer. At least, let's see again. Something is happening now. At least it takes a little bit longer time. Hello, DJing. Welcome to the stream. The authorization token is invalid. The token is malformed. That was an interesting error. Why is that? Okay. What is it trying to do now? Yeah, I need to set it in there. I can do that. So I'm setting the token. Okay. Sure, I have set the variable. I'm just trying to avoid showing you the token, that's why I'm not showing the terminal now. Okay. Now it is running, it says. It's setting up a few now, or what is it doing? I wonder why I got 3. Let's remove some here. Maybe this time it's time to open up the editor and see what they actually did. See if we can figure it out actually. Server.js. It doesn't provide the OC access token to this encoder endpoints. And are these actually correct? Let me create one and we can check. Two issues here. The endpoint calls to start and stop encoder is missing the authorization token, which should be bearer OC access token. And then I'm not sure if service URL. What is that? Is that including? It should be API/encoder. And the API call to the encode to start and stop encoder is prefixed with API. So I needed to do some manual debugging here. And that's how it sometimes is. Malformed. Okay. Let's see this get ports for instance. Is that properly? Initialize the context. I mean, it managed to create it. Let's run it manually once. Kill. Creating instance. And which call is it? It's the get ports for instance that fails. Okay. So it's actually that one. And why is that the case? How does that look? Context, service ID. It needs the service access token. Why don't you read the documentation? When obtaining the ports for the instance, you are not providing a service access token. And when looking at how this function is called, maybe we should Here is an example of how to get the service access token. And in this case, it would, instead of Ivin test and serve, Ivin live encoding. Was it right? Ivin live encoding. You're absolutely right. I started myself. Right, now let's try. New go live. Yeah, could not find RTMP port mapping. Okay, but it was there. And close, but we don't seem to parse the port mapping correctly based on this error. Okay, now let's see. Let's restart it. Remove the one. Setting up your live stream. Ah, nice. Now live stream ready, but the colors are all right. Let's look at that later. Okay, but if we copy this RTMP URL then, and then I'm gonna add it to here. So I'm using Restreamer software. And the same software I'm using to sending to. Did I break something now? Okay. Maybe I cannot have two there. Okay, and so it didn't really support. Maybe I messed up the LinkedIn live now. Oops. I think I messed up now. I messed up the LinkedIn stream, I think. See if I can get back online there. So I thought I could add this output to Restreamer software at the same time. I couldn't apparently. So I lost at least one. Not really sure what's happening with the LinkedIn stream now. It is streaming, I think. Anyway, seems to be a lost case there. Anyway, we can continue here on YouTube, and then I give that one up. It's not super resilient, I think. So let's change this then to this URL instead. See if we are streaming. I'm flying, it feels. Failed to start encoder. Okay. I thought it would actually do that for me. Okay, so we are close but not there yet. Where does it start encoder? Failed to start encoder. Unauthorized. No, it's not the OC access token, it's the service access token. And to start and stop the encoder, it is not the OC access token to be provided. It is rather the service access token. Yes, please. So what we are doing is we are building a Just Go Live application is using the live encoding software in open source cloud. And we are trying to try that out by restreaming this stream that I'm streaming to YouTube to this as well. So let's see. Let's remove that. And then we copy this here. And we start to encode it. Self-signed certificate. Why is that? It should not be a self-signed certificate. Failed to start encode internal server. We don't get any errors there. What is it doing wrong? Stream info. Active streams, what is that? Okay, that's a map. Okay, well, that's probably right. Anything obvious it's doing wrong here? Try it out. Maybe it's missing that payload. So that was obviously not correct from its part. Let's update Restreamer software. And then start encoder. Still. No, I don't get it. I mean, we obviously seen it working. The content type, that's correct. Is it streaming now? Still starting. It's running, but it's not receiving anything. Am I doing something wrong here? The address still wrong, perhaps. Yeah, maybe that was the case. Okay, so we managed to manually start it at least. And that means that this will probably work as well, right? Am I doing something wrong here? And that window could have been a little bit bigger. Why is it offline? And that became a little bit of a glitch. Maybe it isn't that good idea to try things out with the main stream. Okay, but that still is interesting to understand why that start encoder call didn't work. Failed to start encoder. Internal server. Yes, I mean, this is what we call, right? Okay. Let's remove this one for now. Okay, let's try again. Yes. It's no self-signed certificate. PMA live. Is that the correct URL? I need to try that. Authorization required. Let's create service access token. I mean, so that works. That's so strange. No, it's doing it correctly, I mean. That could be it, of course. It's not fully up and running. Okay. But that's an issue in the platform that we should fix. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's fixed in newer. Okay, I know what it is. Right. Then I get the internal server. There must be something really obvious we are doing wrong here. Because obviously the curl call I did. Let's do a post. With the right URL. Unsupported media type. Okay. And isn't that exactly what we are doing here? Let's have some debugging there. See what it says. It's up and running. Start encoder. Body cannot be empty when content type is application is. Why don't you say anything? That was the problem. I shouldn't fix things myself, apparently. All right. We should add it can and the instance is not available right way, so you Paul might need to pull the API encoder endpoint until it responds. Okay. So let's work around that a bit. That will work. Encoder started. Yay. But I don't know if I dare to mess with the restreamer. Oh, come on. All right. You know what? Why? If I'm lost here, you know why. Oh, now it's green. Live stream is active. See if it for some reason it disconnected my stream. That was kind of interesting, I think. I wonder how that is. I should have another computer to stream from just to test, actually. But anyway, maybe we should no, I can run 2 OBS on this one. I don't think I have anything. Here. I just want to have something to not mess with this stream. I can maybe generate. Let's ask for a live stream. Test live stream. Is the encoder started? It's now. Okay. And then we will try this. Line break that well. Okay, now we have a test stream at least. That's probably better. The window is very small. Take up the full window size. Maybe we want to add some persistence. And the stream, the live encoder setup, so I don't have to recreate it every time. Or do we want that? State information. Check if instance is available and only create and recreate it if it is not available. So we don't have to create it every time. Just making a simple disk database for this now. will not be so much data anyway. Let me add start. Setting up your live stream. RTMP URL automatically start encoder, but yeah. What video player is it using actually? Would be an interesting thing to know. Encoder stopped. So if I now restart this. Will it remember? It still created a new instance. You should not create a new instance if the instance restored context is already available. However, you may need to create a new service access token. Before as they expire after 1 hour. let's see how it. But one thing, it should be simple. It should be go live and then everything is running, so you can start pushing. It's modifying. What makes you think that instance is available? No, but it's not validating existing instances. Check instance availability. What makes you think this is available? Get live encoding instance. Maybe it doesn't throw an exception here. I should read the docs. What does it say? I'm not sure. Throws an exception. instance is not available. Exactly. That was better. Just go live. Encoder started. Just make sure it still works. Great. There are still a bit too many clicks. Should be simpler. I suggest that encoder is started immediately. I suggest that we have that the go live button creates instance if needed and start the encoder. Then returns the RTMP URL for streaming. The viewer link can be copied for sharing, but the button to immediately watch should be available. So let's iterate that further. See if we can make it simpler. I mean, I want it to be super simple. Yes, please do. Almost there. And the immediate start button. This is much more user friendly. Okay. So what does it do now? It's waiting for encode to be ready. Should be right. How can it not be available? Using existing instance. Let's see. Streams is what is the check response? False. Because why? Logging here. I think we need to have content type. That's probably why. Oh. Okay, now. I don't get it. What is there? Is the URL there wrong? but it doesn't have any service access token. Why is that? When checking the encoder when waiting for encoder availability stream info service access token is missing. You should refresh if that has not been saved to disk, and not only if it has expired. It's a good point if you don't save it. Yes. I guess you can find out when it is. Okay, it's better. It's up and running immediately. I must say this styling here is really ugly. Don't like the styling with that many contrasting colors. I don't know why it created a new one. Beep. I think stopping should also remove it, or not to think. Must be some kind of race conditions since it's created it. Okay, the color scheme it's a little bit better, but maybe not perfect. But anyway. It's not it. Do we have what we want? Just go live. Setting up your live stream. Copy the URL, can watch stream, create new stream. Will that create another one? Maybe that's not a bad idea. But what happens then? Then we see all streams we have created. Or maybe that is fine. How it is. Okay, good. We need to configure the public URL for the viewer. Public up URL or public URL. Need to be able to configure public URL for the viewer. Used to be used the viewer URL. I guess it will also work if it's not set, yes. Maybe we are done. Doesn't have to be more complex than this. I don't know what video player it was using. I'm a little bit curious to see. I use video.js. Is that the latest version? I don't know. This does create new stream buttons. We can skip, I think. remove the create new stream button from the viewer page. I think we should also be able to configure the CDN URL as well. I guess. Oh no, needs to be possible to specify where store the stream data using environment. For example, data here. Okay, let's think about it. It's gonna make it some readme and git and stuff like that, so we can submit it to OSE. Good. Make it possible to run a container and using a volume mounted user content for data tier. I guess you can already configure the port here. Yep. User data, and didn't I say user content? User content. Didn't care what I wanted. So we built an application to just go live using the open source cloud service for live encoding, which is in turn an open source project, basically API around FFmpeg. I guess I can change that. That's probably fine. User data, that's fine, that's fine. I could probably change that anyway. And deploy it. What else? What do we need? Is there anything else? Should I just try building it? Assume that works. Prepare this project for open source to be released. Adding stuff to the README basically. Right, well, that is working in the background. I think this is mostly standard stuff, making it available. It's open source. You probably go into our GitHub at Ivin. You can find it later, or you can look it up if it's added to Open Source Cloud as well. So you can just create your own instance of this application. And that's it for tonight, this evening. Hope you had a great time, and see you again soon. Remember to subscribe and all of those things, But that's it. Maybe I should summarize what we've done. We built an application to make it super simple to just go live and broadcast your stream. It can be used as a fallback or emergency or whatever to normal. And it uses another open source project around the FFmpeg that's available in Open Source Cloud. So you don't have to host anything, you just enter your OSC access token and you're up and running. And that's it. See you again soon. Have a good night. Bye bye.